I'm a pastor, an artist, an author, a scholar, and a conversation. Welcome to ChatFest with Kenneth. Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of ChatFest with Kenneth. And my guest today is a poet, an ex-beauty queen, and her name is Doubra. And I'm gonna let her introduce herself because it seems that's gonna be my tradition now. And here's my guest. Would you mind telling us what your name is?
My name is Doubra Pade Augusta Fufeyin.
Wow, you gave us all your legal names, everything.
I did.
So, Doubra Augusta Pade Fufeyin. Wait, what was the last one you gave?
No, it's Doubra Pade.
Oh, Doubra Pade.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean Doubra for short.
Okay. And I know right now you are an author, correct?
Correct.
And you actually just published a book of poetry?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I guess I'm interested in how did you always know that was what you wanted to do?
No, I didn't. I didn't at all. I think it's a case of just following passion. I've always had a passion for words.
Okay.
I would write things down. I would put my thoughts down to paper, and then obviously it gets noticed. It gets noticed by people that you're close to, friends and family, and they encourage you. They talk about it and they, oh, you're good at this. You should do something about it. So
Ah.
that's how it started. It
I
wasn't something.
noticed that you describe yourself as a wordsmith.
It wasn't me actually. It was a friend of mine from secondary school, and she coined that name. She called me the wordsmith because
Why?
she came up with that name. And her
Why?
name is Azume Oboro, a very very dear friend of mine from secondary school.
Why did she come up with that phrase or that word?
But that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about, because I would always write about things. Say, for instance, somebody came up with something, I'd write about it.
Okay.
And
So
so
you're
for
very
her,
expressive with your words.
that is
Now,
it.
I am a writer too, and I noticed that when I was younger, it seemed like I was more expressive with writing than speaking. Would you say, did you ever have that way growing up?
That would exactly be my case. That would exactly be my case. I always put down to paper things that interested me, things that
Mhm.
fascinated me.
Uh-huh.
That's how it all began. I think where it starts is that it begins with the passion.
Okay.
And the passion for me is with words.
Mm-hmm.
My dad kind of picked up on it. He he realized that I started reading very early as a little
Okay.
girl. Yes, I started reading very early as a little girl. And do you know what my favorite thing to do was?
What?
It was to sit down with him and have, like, a word challenge. So I'd read my dictionary back and forth.
Oh, I did that too. I used to
Yeah.
read the dictionary. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned it, I'm like, okay, I did do that crap. That's true. It's not crap. It's a good thing.
It's not crap, it's a good thing. So I'll read my dictionary back and forth, and then I'll go to him and say, I'm ready. And then he'd say, he would spell words, he'd give me words to spell. Spell this, spell that, you know. And I got my first experience with homophones when he told me to spell the word etiquette. And
Oh.
I'm like, that's very easy. Etiquette. And I'm like, AIRTICKET. And he goes, wrong. So I'm thinking etiquette, as in buy the etiquette to travel.
Oh, okay.
Whereas where he was talking etiquette as in manners and decorum, So that was
Okay.
my first lesson on homophones. But it
Okay.
was interesting. It was interesting, my passion for words.
So you always had a passion for words. Now, how did you get into, you are an ex beauty queen?
Yes, I am.
What was your title? What pageant did you go into?
I'm what you call the veteran of beauty pageants.
Oh Lord.
And it wasn't intentional.
Okay.
I I I started with the Lux Beauty Pageant. It
Okay.
started as a photo competition in the
Uh-huh.
Vanguard newspapers. Do you remember Vanguard?
I do
That was
remember Vanguard.
yes. So that was one of the newspapers. Still is one of the newspapers in Nigeria, I presume. So they came up with a photo competition, and I was curious. I was like, okay, I have a nice photo. Let me send it in. So I sent him my photo, and I was shortlisted from all over Nigeria, and they got some finalists. So what Lever Brothers decided to do, they decided to do a pageant out of that photo competition. So I never set out, thinking I want to be a beauty queen. This is the path I want to follow. It
Mhm.
just happened. It just happened from the photo competition
Okay.
that ended up being a pageant. So that was my first pageant. Miss Lux 1998 was my first pageant. And the
Okay.
second pageant I did was Most Beautiful Girl in Nigeria, where I
Oh
was
yeah,
Miss
that's like
Photogenic.
that's major. That's like the national one.
Those are the national ones. I did
Yeah.
all of them. I did all the national pageants. So Most Beautiful Girl in Nigeria, I ended up as Miss Photogenic.
Okay.
Yeah, I ended up as Miss Photogenic, which was quite good because at the end of the day, I didn't win, but I had something to show for it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Most
and so the
beautiful
next,
girl pageant. That's the one all the major girls were doing. Bianca Honor, Regina
yes,
Askia,
that's what they
and
were
all of them.
doing. That
That
was
was,
the platform,
yeah, that
and
was
that's what produced Agbani Darego as well.
Granny Dorego. Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, yeah, that is true.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
So did you while you were doing that, did you okay, because okay, we who are looking from the outside, our view is, oh, uh pageant queen, your career is gonna be modeling. So did you ever think like, oh, you're doing this pageant thing and you would parlay it into some form of modeling, like editorial or runway or something?
Like I said, it wasn't intentional. My journey wasn't intentional.
But while you started doing it, did you
Yes, it led to other things. It led to modeling eventually.
also you did model?
Oh, yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
And that's one of the high points of my career.
Oh,
It's
okay.
simple. Yes, it was one of the high points. I didn't do runway. I did editorial. So I did magazines, billboards, and
Uh-huh.
things like that. In fact, I think my greatest achievement in terms of financially
Mhm.
has come from modeling.
It was
Yeah,
a lucrative move for you.
it was a lucrative move for me. It wasn't planned, but
Uh-huh.
at the end of the day, that is why it's always good for people to follow their passions
Yes.
or do something, just follow that gut instinct.
Mm-hmm.
So this is me starting out from a photo competition to beauty pageantry. I ended up in modeling. I remember my first major modeling contract. Which was with V Mobile.
Okay.
I went in for the cast just like any other girl that was there, and three major brand ambassadors were selected, and I was one of them. That
Wow.
was I would say that was the highlight of my career.
Okay.
I, I looked at the figures. I'm like, at this age, at this time, six figures, that was it for me.
Okay.
Yeah, that
So
was it
at
for
that
me.
point, at that okay, maybe I shouldn't say at that point. While in that season of your life, was your trajectory that you are going to be like one of the supermodels that we have, like you were just going to continue modeling, and was that what you thought was going to happen, or is that what you were planning on?
I did, like I said, I didn't have any major plans. I was just going with the flow.
Okay.
So for me, after the beauty pageantry came the modeling. And for the modeling, it was good. I had a few modeling jobs. I was on billboards, but also I was studying to become a lawyer.
Okay.
So
Aha.
yeah,
So that's what I'm trying to understand. Cause so you did, it wasn't you were just going with the flow. You did have a plan because you were in school. You were studying to be a lawyer, right?
yes, I was.
Okay. So while you were doing your modeling, you were studying to be a lawyer. Was that in studying to be a lawyer, was that something that was a passion for you? Is that something you were driven to, or it was just, "Well, I need a degree, let's just find something to do"?
The degree, like you know, growing up as a little
Ta-da!
girl in Nigeria,
How you
education
education
is a fundamental part
fundamental.
of
It's
our
just
growing
it
up.
ends up.
That has to be sorted. You're not going to come talking to somebody or anybody about being a model or anything else when that is not sorted.
That's true. That is absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Exactly. So I was studying to become a lawyer and I was doing this on the side.
Gotcha.
Yes,
So
I
are
was doing
you
it
a
on the.
lawyer now?
I'm a trained lawyer. Yes, I went to Nigerian law school in Lagos. Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
practicing?
Never practiced, my darling. Never.
But you have
But
it. Nobody
no
can take
knowledge
it.
is ever lost. Yeah.
No, you have it, so nobody can ever take that from you. That's
And
something.
that's an interesting thing I want to talk about because after studying to get the degree, I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't I wasn't really hell bent on going to law school. But I
Oh,
had an uncle who is late now of blessed memory, Holiday Fufeyin. And he said to me about law school, it's better to have it and not need it.
than to not have it and need it.
He was a philosopher. He studied philosophy. He didn't need to say anything more than that. I thought about that. It made sense to me. And I
Okay.
said, okay, let me add this in there. Not because I really wanted to, but you do tend to listen to
Mm-hmm.
people who have advanced in years, people who have had experiences, family,
Mm-hmm.
so that was one of the reasons that why I went to law school. So that's it. I'm a trained lawyer along with everything else.
Okay. So, as a published author, when did you finally decide, like, you know what? I have all these writings and I want to compile my writings and I want to publish it and I want to put it out there. Because I know, as a fellow author, I know the first time I published, it was scary because it seemed like I was now putting my babies out there for someone to now critique and judge. And I don't know, something about that process just made me feel vulnerable. Like I'm revealing myself to people, and now people are just gonna like crucify me if they don't like it. They're gonna put their opinions. And so that was a very major thing for me to commit to. So I don't know, did you ever have something similar like that?
Yeah, but when it comes to public opinion, I learned I learned the hard way that there are certain things that you do with your life when you decide to become a public figure or do things that put you in the public light.
Mm-hmm.
You have to accept the demonizing. You have to build
Come
a
to the territory.
wall. Yes, because the moment you decide I want to go public is where you decide everybody can have an opinion.
Oh, and they will.
Your, they will. Your life is no longer the closed chapter. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes an open book for everybody to have a say. Bearing in mind, for me, that came early.
Yep, that came early for you.
Yes, it came very, very early for me. So this is me growing up in my neighborhood, in my community as a young girl, uh, in front of media, in the papers, on billboards and things like that. For some people, you're a role model. For some people, who does she think she is? So it's up to you to decide what you want to do with that aspect of it, because everybody knows that with the limelight, it either makes or breaks you.
Mm-hmm. That's
You
true.
understand?
That's
I
true.
know that you're a fan of Whitney Houston. I've seen your cover of her
Yes,
song.
I am.
I'm a fan of Whitney as well. I love her to bits, no matter what anybody says. Her, with her vices and things like
We
that.
all have vices. We all have vices. And I think it's when you come to terms with your vices, you can address them. And even if they're not addressed, you're at peace with it.
I love that. At peace with it.
Yes, because we all have vices. Hey, I'm a psychologist. So we all have vices. We all have our biases. We all have our
Sentiments,
yes, we all have that our clear self
idiosyncrasies.
and our unclear self. Our clear self is a part of us which we are in touch with, and the unclear self is the one we're still having issues with. And we can choose to repress and suppress, or we can just look at it and keep it locked up in the basement. Feed it once a while, but it's in the basement and we know it's in the basement.
Skeletons in the cupboard.
Hello. So tell me what's the title of your book?
It's called My Book of Poems, and it's currently on Amazon.
Does it is it also how many what format is it in is obviously you have the paperback. Is it also available on Kindle?
Yes, it is on ebook. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Awesome.
it is.
So what's your is it your views on the world? Is it your views on politics? Is it your views on romance? What is the perspective of your book?
I would say that my book is about my chronicles of my journey through life, my perception, the way I see it.
Okay.
So when you pick up my book as a creative mind or not creative, you read a poem and you see a side that you can connect to. And I would say proudly that it cuts across orientation, race, age, because I have mothers from my children's school whose children have read the book.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking, this is my aim. I didn't want to write to say this is the certain demographic that I wanted to appeal to.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to write about my journey, my experiences, the way I see life as a mother, as a woman, as a friend,
Mm-hmm.
as a brother, as a sister.
So
So
basically, are you inviting us into your world?
I am inviting you into my world, definitely. I'm inviting you into my world.
What is Dobra's world like?
Dobra's world, I would say, is an interesting world. It's quite colorful. I have
I bet
evolved
it is.
because I wear many hats. I'm a mother, I'm a poet, I'm now an author, and I'm a friend. when I say friend, I mean a loyal friend. I'm the one. I will be there for you when things are going and when things are going,
Through thick and thin.
So, yeah, through thick and thin. My message, which I'm amplifying through my poetry, is love,
Amen.
because I realized that that is what the divide is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the divide is. People don't realize that we are separate but equal. We are we're diverse but and unique in our own separate ways.
Yeah.
And it's not a competition.
No, it's not. Everybody has his own lane.
Yeah.
But you know
So
one
for
thing.
me,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah. So for me, I feel what I have done is like I've translated my passion into a message, and that message is through poetry.
Okay.
That's through poetry. So it's kind of like a sneak peek into how I think.
Ah.
Yes. So
Okay.
you read what I've written, and then you think, okay, I know where she's going with this, or I have an idea of what she's thinking about. So I would say my book is an expression of the things that I believe in.
And it's very perfect in this time of the year. Um, we're recording this now, it's Christmas time. I don't know when this is gonna air, but definitely it will be a perfect gift to give to someone. Wouldn't you
Oh,
say?
yes, I think so. Because what people don't, I feel that people need to understand that it's okay to be who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to be who you are. I am Catholic, I'm a Christian. And for me, God is the center of my life. And my life, obviously, has been a journey. I
An
didn't,
interesting journey.
yes, I didn't just wake up being an author. Something led to it.
Uh-huh.
Nothing I've done has ever been planned. I just went with my gut feeling. So I would say that I'm an instinctive and intuitive person. Say, for instance, the photo competition I'm talking about. That photo competition led to the pageant. The pageant led to the modeling.
Mm-hmm.
The modeling led to my financial subsistence.
So, on that trajectory, where
Yes.
do you see yourself? Do you see it as being, and I think you've been saying it, and I keep coming back to it. Um, do you see it as an organic process, like you just go with the flow of how everything is going to work out for you, or do you have a trajectory that you are working towards?
That's a very, very interesting question. I believe that I would never stop writing anyway.
Okay.
So the question is, what am I writing, or what will I be writing?
Okay.
So one of the things that I am, one of the many hats that I wear, is that I'm an early years practitioner, which is I work with children and young people.
Okay.
Which includes child development,
Mm-hmm.
child protection, and child safeguarding. So in terms of like, when people have asked me things that you're like asking me now, where do you go from there? In my head, I'm thinking, give me a break. I just started. But it's always good to think ahead.
Yeah, because
It's
there's that
always good to think
concept of
ahead.
vision board, where you have a vision, and then because you can't birth out what you haven't conceived, you have to conceive it and then build it. Then you can birth, just like your book. Your book didn't just come out; there was a conception, and then there was a nurturing before you gave birth to it.
Yes, there's a very, very interesting story to that as well. That led to the book, which I haven't talked about. I'll try and be very brief about it. Now, how did the book come about? So there's the passion, there's all that stuff I've been putting up in my journal all these years.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's how the book came about. I lost someone that I knew who was a fellow beauty queen.
Okay.
Her name is Ibidun Itwa, Igodolo Itwa. She was the beauty queen of the pageant that I was runner-up for, which is the Miss Lux pageant.
Okay.
Yes. So I was in mourning. I felt, not just the fact that somebody else had died, a fellow beauty queen had died, but someone that I felt that had touched lives remarkably. So she's one of those people that I look at as a fellow beauty queen that I've always been proud of. I've seen her, her journey. So when she died, I mourned her passing. And in the morning of her passing, I wrote a tribute
Okay.
to her, which was picked up by a professor in my church. So he read the tribute on Facebook, and he said, he sent me a message and said, "Oh, I've seen you in church all the time and everything. I didn't know you had this much other talents. So what are you going to do about your talent? Are you going to wait for death to come as well?"
Ah, you see,
Yes.
that's a very poignant thing you just said there. So somebody saw it and called it out of you, and
The
hopefully,
passion had always been there.
yeah, it was there, but somebody saw it and kind of called it out and or planted that seed or said something that made you not.
Of progress.
Yes,
So
and
he said to
hopefully.
me, yeah, like things in life, sometimes people say, oh, I feel your pain, or I share in your sorrow and things like that, but they don't really do anything tangible about it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is someone who said to me, I see your talent and I'm willing to take you through this journey, and assumed the role of a mentor. And he said to me, listen, I mean, obviously, as a professor, which you might be one day where you're heading,
Yay.
he said to me, I realize this is what you're about, and I'm willing to support you in this journey. So, and he
That,
said to me, yes. And he
that,
said to me, what do you have? And I said, the question of material is not the problem. I've been writing for ages, So from the time that she died, when I was mourning, to the day that she was buried, I'd come up with my book. And so I'm talking about a period of about two weeks, or a
mm,
little over 2 weeks. So I went down there, brought all my stuff together, and he kept calling me to say, how are we doing? And I said, don't worry about it, sir. It's going to be, I have everything I need. I'm just going to put it together. And so my first draft was ready on the day that she was buried. And that's why the book is dedicated to her.
okay, okay. That's
Yes.
awesome. So the last question I have for you,
Yes.
because obviously we don't want to give the impression that, oh, your life has been so perfect. Everything has been working out right for you. You just came, you did, you went for you went for the beauty pageant, and everything has just been perfect. And we know that's not life. So what would you say to for the final question? What would you say has kept you going, even when life was not perfect, even when life showed you its most bitter and painful? Because I'm sure you've gone through episodes.
Everybody does.
Everybody has. So, what would you say has kept you to stay positive and keep going, even when everything inside and outside told you to just cave in and cry and crumble?
I would say God. God has always been the center of my life. And when you have God in the center of your life, there's always that strength to draw onto.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes in different forms and dimensions. I have a very strong family bond. my support
Right
mechanism.
now.
And as the last of eight children, I'm the baby of the house. So I have that privilege
Yes,
of
everybody's looking out for you.
everybody's looking out for you. What's going on? How is life? How is life treating you? It doesn't really matter. It's okay. You will get there. So my family, I would say, next to God, has been my strength.
Okay.
And which is quite remarkable, or which I would say is a very, very defining factor. Because when you have to go inside, you do know that in order to progress, you have to be around positive
Yeah, that's true.
people who see you the way you are, accept you the way you are, and are willing to do anything to make it possible. So
Well,
for me, yes, I think God is the utmost.
and
And
then
then family, because of God anyway,
yeah, that is true. That is true.
is my support mechanism. They have guided everything that I have done,
Okay.
So yes, they've guided everything that I have done. So from the moment my passion started, it was encouraged. That again is family.
Yeah.
If nobody sees what you're doing or nobody encourages you, you're not likely to sit down and think, oh, I'm going to do more about it. When you have that encouragement, like in the case of my family, or like in the case of Professor Benedict Nolin,
Let's
who
give credit
supported
to
my
him.
journey, I have to give credit to him, which he is going to obviously give me a warning for. He doesn't like to be mentioned because
Oh,
he
too
just
late.
likes,
Yeah, I'm not editing it out.
it's too late now, I've mentioned him. So for me, I just want to, I'm very, very grateful for my journey.
Okay.
And I think the fact that I
Well,
am
we
where I
are running
am.
out of time. And
Hmm.
but you
Not
know,
before I do my poem, though.
oh, you want to do a poem?
Yes, it's the first
Oh,
poem I ever performed. That's the only thing I'm going to do before.
okay, sure. Before you do it,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say you remind me, for some reason, you remind me of Naomi. When I listen to you, I hear pieces of Naomi Campbell,
Do you?
like the way you enunciate some of your words. So obviously you're in England, right?
Yes, I am.
I'm sure it's a British thing that's going on. Okay.
Fellow model.
Yeah, fellow model. All right, so let's hear your poem.
Yeah. I decided to do this poem because it's the first poem I ever performed. And
Okay.
I call it a runaway.
Okay.
Yeah. So as I walk down the runway, I want to run away as I see the faces before me, some cheering and others jeering. But the words on my lips as I swing my hips is you can do it. And do it I must, because I'm here to win and to be your queen. Thank you.
Whoa, yay. Definitely, definitely. So, viewers, that's Doubra for you, and we definitely appreciate her. You can cop a copy of her book, and thank you again for gracing us, my dear beauty queen.
Ex-beauty queen.
Well, hey, once a
Always a queen,
queen,
though.
always a queen.
Always a queen.
And that was Doubra. She really does remind me of Naomi Campbell for some reason, the way she enunciates her words. Yeah, because I am a Naomi Campbell fan for life. But anyhow, please do not forget to like, subscribe, or make your comments, suggestions, questions, opinions. We're open to it. And also support. We always appreciate your support. And thank you. And don't forget to get a copy of her book. Details of this will be in the description section of this video. And hope you guys have a wonderful day.